think in a way this film is a homage to Logan's Run, and did you get inspired by that movie and these characters?
I think that's more a question for Andrew Niccol. But I don't know that it's an homage to Logan's Run. I think there are similarities with all sci-fi movies. I could probably name two or three that I could find likeness with. But I think that's a very interesting movie for the time that it came out, and I don't mind people saying that it is an homage to that because I thought that was a great movie. But I think that there was a lot to this movie, and the way that I sort of became really infatuated with it was I read the script, and for 2 or 3 days I couldn't stop thinking about the whole concept of the film and what it would be like to live day to day, literally, to only have one day to live. And I think if you asked anyone that, you get some really interesting answers. You know, how would you live if you only had 23 hours, less than a day?
It's quite a change of role for you, this movie. Do you see yourself going the route of the action hero, or like the new Jason Bourne of sort?
I don't think so. I think I don't look at this role as sort of an action hero. Like I said, this movie has a lot to it. I think that it's a thriller in a lot of ways, and I love that this character was just an everyday man. You know, I love that the action in the film is very real. It's not, you know, there aren't car chases for the sake of car chases, or, you know, I think it's just a guy who gets, I think it's just a guy who's had enough and fights back, and I like the simple idea of that.
What are the themes you enjoyed exploring in this movie?
If you had a day to live, how would you live? And I like the fact that, and you know, the best sci-fi movies, in my opinion, you know, the ones where you're watching a movie and it's set in the future, but the future is not that different from present day. I sort of love those movies the most because I feel like I can grab a hold of the idea a lot easier, and I relate to it a lot more.
Beyond the thrill of the ride of the movie, what are the themes of this movie? Like, what is the underlying message behind this movie?
Well, I think this movie says a lot about our class system. And I think that you have a concept like the fact that if you run out of time, you die. But also that you could die in the ways of the world also. I think it creates a much more severe life, and to show that, I think you walk out of the film saying, you know, there are places in the world where life is literally not that far from how we portrayed it in the movie, and I think you ask a lot of questions.
What was the biggest challenge facing you shooting this movie?
The biggest challenge was so much happens literally from moment to moment. So shooting out of sequence is always tough because you literally have to, you know, you kind of have this thing when you walk into a scene where you say, where was I right before this? But you literally had to be conscious of that, you know, probably 4 times as much in this movie because you literally were moving from moment to moment to moment.
What would you do if you could buy all the time in the world?
I would probably give some away to those who didn't have any.
What do you think time could buy?
I mean, hopefully peace of mind. You know, I think time is the most valuable commodity we have as human beings, time and health. And so, I don't know, hopefully a little serenity.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.